immigration and border security. President Biden, a record number of migrants have illegally crossed the southern border on your watch, overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns. Given that, why should voters trust you to solve this crisis?
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, it made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. By the way, the Border Patrol endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president, he was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure the families were separated. That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. It's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look, we had the safest border in the history of our country. The border, all he had to do was leave it. All he had to do was leave it. He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest number of terrorists coming into our country right now, all terrorists, all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere. All over the world, they're pouring in. And this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me for president. Brandon, just speak to him. But look, we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place, including the people that are coming up in caravans.
President Trump.
So it's interesting to me on the heels of what was a very, very tough and ugly debate for President Biden. A lot of folks just ignored the other guy standing next to him, which was a complete crap show. But 60% of voters said Biden should be replaced as a Democratic candidate. But then when asked to the next question, who would you vote for president? 45% said Biden, 45% said Trump.
In that morning consult poll.
In that morning consult poll. So it says to me that first number is just a visceral reaction. They sort of, oh my God, no, we need to stand in there. But the next one, you sort of take the step back and you actually have to then think about the choice. So if he was so bad up top, why would you then say give him the vote on the bottom side? Tells me bad debate, but there's still a lane for Joe Biden to make this race. That's why I was saying before, everybody needs to chill the hell out, re-coordinate, refocus, and let the man just go to the country and make his case.
I mean, I am thinking about that debate, and yes, we've talked a lot about the president's performance and how it did not meet the bar that the campaign themselves had set for their own selves. Right. And I'm just thinking about some of the things I heard Donald Trump say. I mean, we talked about black jobs and Hispanic jobs, his false claims on abortion. He said that Nancy Pelosi refused 10,000 troops on January 6th. And then Nancy Pelosi's response the day after was like, he thinks I ordered my own assassination. Like he took credit for the pandemic recovery. He ain't even the president, and he lied so flawlessly. I was just kind of like, wait, what did he just say?
Yeah, that was what
I also had a question about the fact, as far as I could tell, they have not previously asked this question. So
in the morning
consult poll. So it is possible that for a long time there have been a large number of Democratic voters that if you polled them and asked them specifically, would you prefer to see another candidate? Do you think you should drop out? Would have said that prior to this debate.
Yeah, right? I mean, they were saying it in other polls.
Right. And yet the fact remains, to your point, that when you say, okay, but now we're not living in a theoretical. We're living in the actuality of these two candidates. Right. Make your choice. All of a sudden, those numbers are not.
I would like to be a size 6. If you polled me and asked me, would I like to be a 6? Consistently, I would say yes. Okay.
But welcome back to Breakdown Friday. We're here to break down this debacle of a debate between Joe Biden, and I know I'm saying it wrong for some of you people in the comments. It's Joe Biden. I know it's a joke. Joe Biden and Donald J. Trump. And yeah, the Democrats are in scramble mode. If you did not watch the debate, it was boring overall. I watched about an hour of it. It was boring, but what was entertaining about it was the facial expressions that were made as lies were slung both ways and shots were slung both ways, and both of them jockeying for the proverbial positioning in the debate. But one of the main things that stood out is Joe Biden's performance or lack of performance. Joe Biden looked bad, and the Democrats have been in scramble mode the whole time since last Thursday's debate because they want to make sure people continue to vote for Biden, and they don't want Trump to have an advantage. And so one of the things that I did find insulting from a lot of these left-wing outlets is they are trying to convince us that we didn't see what we saw. And we saw what we saw. So they are in scramble mode right now, trying to save face and make it look like the Democratic Party isn't in shambles. But the question has been asked, should Joe Biden be replaced? Is Joe Biden still mentally, physically capable of running for president, continuing to be president? Should he run for a second term? If he does run, will he be voted for again? So, all these things we're gonna talk about because, once again, the Democrats are trying to do what they can to make sure that they can keep whatever fan base or whatever momentum that they believe that they have. But I just think it's interesting. And, I'm with Trump. I don't know what he said at the end of that thing either. So, but, but I'm going to start with you, Pat, man. What did you think about the debate clip? Also the CNBC or the MSNBC clip with Simone Sanders and the other two. I don't know their names. I ain't really trying to learn their names, but with the other two commentators. And, so your overall thoughts of like where the Democrats are after the debate.
I think the news makes things worse. I don't think anything in the debate changed anything. I think people that thought Joe Biden was old and feeble and frail still think he's old and feeble and frail. And the people that's gonna vote for him no matter what are still gonna vote for him no matter what.
Right.
I think the optics always look bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't actually watch the debate. I listened to it. So when everybody started talking about how bad Joe Biden looked, I was like, it sounded like Joe Biden. But that's because I listened to it. It sounded like Joe Biden.
Yeah, see the
it
facial
wasn't
expressions.
until later I went back and watched it a little bit. I didn't watch all of it. I just watched a little bit to kind of see what people were talking about. But then it also takes me to the first televised debate. Well, maybe I can't remember if it was the first or not, but I think it was the Richard Nixon debate where the Nixon looked sickly in the debate, and he paid a political price for that. And so, we get caught up in. So to me, it became telling. Like, okay, so we're not talking about policies, we're not talking about positions. We're talking about how a candidate looks. Do they look presidential? And it's interesting because I'm thinking, and I know we all know that that's kind of the nature of the beast. The moment they put a camera on something. But it was interesting to me because I listened to the debate and it sounded like Joe Biden. I didn't know what the hell he said there either. There were a couple moments where I didn't know what he was saying. There were a couple moments where he just got quiet and I thought the video had froze and I had to stop driving and look at my phone and be like, yo, did my video free? And no, he just stopped.
He was thinking.
There was a lot of awkward things going on for him, and then Trump was Trump. So to your questions, though, my overall, like, the debate was exactly what I thought it would be. Joe Biden being Joe Biden and Donald Trump being Donald Trump. Now, what's interesting to me is the fallout of it. It's almost as if people, I'm not real sure what's happening with people nowadays because, again, I didn't see anything in the debate that was even newsworthy. Like, if I'm a newscaster, I'm like, all right, the presidential debate happened. Joe Biden was Joe Biden. Donald Trump was Donald Trump. Y'all all knew what the shit was before it started.
Pat, he said something about black jobs, Pat.
Yeah, well, but and so
that's offensive, Pat.
Well,
black jobs. What's a black job, Pat?
We'll get into the substance, I'm sure. But right now, I'm just commenting on the look and what people are talking about. And it looked like exactly what we said it was going to look like before the debate happened. So I'm confused about people being confused. Do I think Joe Biden should drop out? Honestly, no, because he's got the best chance
out of the Democrats,
Donald Trump, out of anybody in the Democratic Party, and that is a horrible thing for the Democratic Party to have to admit. But it's the truth. Who do they replace him with? There's nobody to replace him with. And I think what the Democrats should be trying to do is trying to get him to find a competent vice president so that if he does win, because at this point, for this conversation, Kamala Harris ain't doing you no favors.
That's the next presidential candidate. What you talking about? That's what they've been talking about in the streets. Kamala running.
But and see, that's where the ticket is broken as a whole. And that's where if I'm a part of the Democratic, I'm like, look, we have a very weak front man and a very unliked second lady beneath him. All right. He's the best choice we got to beat Trump. And people think he can't do it because they think he's going to be in office and she's going to take the position. And nobody wants that.
Right.
So this might be the first time in history first time in modern history where a president has to say, look, I need a new VP because you're sandbagging me right now. That's the best thing they could do is swap out Kamala Harris.
Hey, yeah. And I think that'll be next week's show. And I just wrote it down. Project 2025. That's one of the talking points that are coming from the Democrats to try to use to scare black people into voting Democrat. So that I wrote that we're gonna get back to that. I did want to mention that, but it's like it's alarming and funny at the same time. The state of, because both, like we said in the past, both parties are weak right now. There isn't at this point, in my opinion, from what I've seen, there isn't a strong party. There's one strong candidate, and that's Donald Trump. And that's not because he's capable; it's because he has the flair and the cachet that the people want. The people who push the white supremacist ideas and those things, he has what they want. The people who push the business ideas, the corporate ideas, he has what they want, and they're backing him, and they have more trust in him than they do Joe Biden.
Well, they don't have a choice though, because Trump is a demigod.
Yeah,
and his followers have given him a level of power and authority to where he is virtually untouchable. And so the powers that, if we believe in the powers that be have been neutralized by his celebrity and his ability to control and manipulate the minds of the masses.
Right.
And so I think Joe Biden is probably a more capable president than Donald Trump.
I've always said that, but I will use this caveat in saying what I'm saying. A healthy, competent, in his prime, Joe Biden would definitely, he's a 100 times better politician than Donald Trump is.
I think even this Joe Biden is a better politician.
Well, yeah, I give you that. But
he's just missing everything else.
Yeah, and his ability, I don't think his political acumen is being questioned. I think his ability, like physical ability, now is being questioned in, running this country and keeping the image of America up.
Which is funny. And after this, I'm gonna land so PC can cook. But it's funny because Donald Trump is only 3 years younger than Joe Biden.
Say it again.
Like
a lot of people don't know that.
He's only 3 years younger. This is the oldest presidential competition. What are we doing? People are saying when Joe Biden completes his second term, he'll be 86. Donald Trump will be 82, 83.
Hey man, Cornel West is out there though. Y'all can vote for Cornel. Y'all can vote for Cornel. Y'all can vote for John F. Kennedy Jr. Y'all can vote for Jill Stein.
You can vote for Kanye West too.
I'm gonna write my name in. But PC, man, what did you think about the debate, the fallout from the debate, also the follow-up clip of the Democrats giving their view on the debate and people's opinion on who they would still vote for at this point, and just overall like the state of this political climate right here.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
So
which one, the black one or the white one?
I think the white one this time. We'll keep the black one out of it. Yeah, Black Jesus, he got to mind our business. He can't mind his. I think wow, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch much of the debate. I was literally listening while I was prepping to do my my screening. Oh, somebody get around the corner. Sorry.
I hear that. That's a shot.
Yes, sir.
Dang, I hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's definitely peppering them up nicely.
They ain't peppering. That's definitely buckshots. I don't know. It might be something. Ooh, I can see it. It might be fireworks, but I don't know.
I was gonna say you need to hit the ground.
It's too late. It's too late, man. Yeah, I think it might be fireworks, man.
Okay. Okay.
So, so my, yeah, that was actually more action than the debate. I don't, man. Because I listened in. I caught the part where they were lying about January 6th, and and it's it's like the elders talking, but you got one that's more competent than the other, but the other one knows more truth. So.
Mm-hmm.
So Donald Trump sitting there talking about, man, I was trying to bring troops in to protect y'all, and I told y'all I was going crazy out there, and Biden was like, what are you talking about? We were we were there. Like, you act like we didn't see you. We were in the room with you. That was probably funny.
That was funny. No, that was funny.
So, I'm laughing about it, but my impression was like Donald Trump is who he is. He's always been who he is. One thing about Donald Trump is he's a liar, but he's not a chameleon. We know what we're getting with Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they start talking about golf. It's like he always finds the way to take the topic, to turn the topic. Last year during the Republican convention, he was telling people his Johnson was bigger than theirs on the stage. So he always finds a way to turn it away from anything important. The thing is that Biden, Pat, I can't. This is one thing we're going to disagree on. This is the same Joe Biden we've seen for the last 2-3 years. The problem is this version of Joe Biden. This is the one that's been falling off of bicycles, falling off stages,
Straight weekend at Bernie's.
Right, exactly. It's like watching this, like somebody woke him up 5 minutes before. Come on, Joe. Gotta go. Like 5 minutes before it's like they pumped him for whatever they could pump him with just to keep him woke. You know what I'm saying? My God. This is embarrassing. You know what, man? And the thing is, I don't really put a lot into the presidential politics because I always think that, basically since the Kennedy assassination, it's all been a trail of puppeteers. But even as a figurehead, the last time the office held any dignity is when Obama was in there. And the fact of the matter is, internationally speaking, this is why other countries are starting to take shots in America, is because this is the representation of what America looks like. It looks weak. It looks like a puppet show. It looks like a clown, like a circus. And you have antics like this taking place, and you have candidates who neither one will qualify for the job. But the crazy part about it is Donald Trump won the nomination for the Republicans while he was literally in court the entire time. He didn't go to, I think he might have gone to maybe 2 or 3 different states to rally support. He beat all the other candidates just by name recognition and the fact that they were trash.
Donald, he was the leading candidate the first time he became the leading candidate.
Yeah, so that's embarrassing in itself for the Republican Party. For the Democratic Party, they are in trouble. Because they really I wonder, because I remember that when we talked about, like, this is before y'all time a little bit, but when Ronald Reagan was the president, people often thought that Nancy Reagan was running the country because Ronald Reagan was trying to turn the TV on. The remote control was facing the wrong way. They were, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of stuff that you got going seriously. Like, he had Alzheimer's and dementia in the White House. And what was the guy that got caught the boat full of? Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell's been doing this, like freezing up and seizing up, during speeches and things of that nature, and they have to rush him off the podium. So there's a serious concern in terms of, like, your commander in chief supposed to look strong. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the number one general to your army. This dude, like I said, it's horrible. And the thing is, Kamala Harris is mad because they're talking about what are we going to do? And naturally, what would naturally take place is you tell the president to step down so the vice president can step up. But don't nobody in the Democratic Party want Kamala running anything. And so what's bound to probably happen is they're going to try to force him, because they got until like August 10th or something like that, for him to step down and so that they can have an actual Democratic convention, national convention. And that's actually where a candidate might be chosen at the national convention, if they have one.
When Hillary Clinton ran for president, America showed everybody that America is not ready for a woman to be president, because you're talking about image and look and how we look. Because right now, the Democrats versus the Republicans is the bad news bears versus the little giants right now. And that's, two teams that ain't looking good. But the America that I know, this white supremacist America, they not having a woman run America at this point right now, especially with the way we've been looking the last 4 to 8 years.
I think.
Okay, go
ahead, PC. Go ahead.
I think Hillary lost because she lost the confidence of black people by talking about she had hot sauce in her purse instead of and then at the Philadelphia Democratic Convention, her the analysts or the people that was running the Democratic Convention said they're not going to address any questions concerning the issues concerning black people. So, with an election that was that close, what she lost at is that, like we often talked before, black people are the deciding vote.
But remember, I think like 54% of the white women voted for Trump and not her.
Well, 70%.
Yeah. So even white women didn't choose her.
But see, I think America could have a woman president. I think she will not be a Democrat, because the Democrats have a habit of picking unlikable women. Like we forget Hillary Clinton was very well known, name recognition through the roof, Hillary and Clinton. But she was not a liked politician. People didn't like Hillary. She was known for being secretive. She was known for not being somebody that you could trust. She's like she had, and this is in the political realm. She had all these strikes against her character, and then now you go to Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is also not a likable woman.
Nah,
She's
I don't like
now. You look at who is the folksy Alaskan chick that Tina Fey used to play.
Yeah.
Uh,
The one that slept with Glenn Rice.
she talking about she can see Russia from Alaska.
Yeah, she can see. I can see Russia from my house.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
chick.
Yeah. I can't remember now. I just remember Glenn Rice slept with her.
And everybody talked about how dumb she was, but everybody glossed over how likable she was to a large portion of Americans,
especially to the right.
And that is the Republican thing is they tend to pick women on the national level that are likable.
Well, hold on, Pat.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna chime in right there and just stay right there. Republicans pick feminine women, women that are feminine. The Democrats pick masculine women.
I was trying not to say that.
All right, well, you don't have to. I said it. You can go back there now. You know, I think the biggest on that one.
But I think that's the Democrats have two problems. One, they're trying to force the die shit down the throats of Americans that don't want to deal with, the diversity, inclusion stuff. They don't want to. America as a whole doesn't like that. Now, there are certain pockets, certain groups that do like it. Major cities tend to like it because they tend to be more liberal. But as a whole, America is kind of over the whole diversity and inclusion movement.
Yeah, right. Yeah, DEI. They ain't trying to do that.
Right. So, and the Democrats, they don't have an identity. Who
outside of that? Yeah.
Yeah, outside of that, what is a Democrat? A Democrat is basically somebody that's not a conservative. Well, what is that? But what does that mean? Like, what's your message? And now you're trying to talk to people that don't like you. Like Kamala Harris is supposed to secure the black vote, but they haven't done any canvassing to determine that black people don't like Kamala Harris. It's just she's black, so let's go. And it was the same with Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was supposed to win the woman vote, but they didn't do any canvassing to determine women don't like Hillary Clinton. So and that's what they keep doing every election cycle. They pick somebody from the diversity inclusion, that the DIE movement, that's going to rally the entirety of the left without canvassing whether or not people actually like this person, because at the end of the day, politics is about popularity. The most liked person wins. You need to pick a likable person.
Well, we express that often on this channel because we talk about how a lot of us learned the civic process. Elementary school, what they call the student government, you vote for the most popular person. Middle school, student government, you vote for the most popular. High school, so on. College, so on. When you get into the real world, so on. The popularity matters because people can't tell you the issues.
They even be lying back then talking about if you elect me, you won't have to do any homework.
Well, think about a lot of the opposition of Donald Trump is people, I don't like him. They're saying they don't like him. They're not saying they don't like his policy. They say, I don't like him as a person.
Well, okay.
Even in that clip, the follow-up clip,
right?
What did they say as far as policy in the clip? Like, if I'm analyzing the debate on that level, it's all policy. That's all I'm talking about. I don't care about now if Donald Trump told a bunch of lies. Well, I know that's what Donald Trump do.
Well, that's a point that I wanted to point out. Because some of the rebuttal from people I talk to in real life and people videos that I've seen via social media, whether YouTube or TikTok or whatever, people were upset that Trump was telling lies. And one thing I was trying to get them to understand is it doesn't matter if he tell lies. It don't matter how many lies he tell. It don't matter. Trump doesn't have to tell the truth at all. It's about the performance. The performance is going to outweigh the truth. People, because they all know for the majority of people, policy don't matter. It's all about performance and how you look. Trump could get up there and sprinkle a little bit of truth on a whole bunch of lie and still come out on top because of the overall performance that people are looking for. Most people tuned in for the theatrics. Most people either tuned in because they like Joe Biden or they like Trump or they hate Trump. Let's be real.
I tuned in for entertainment value. And I was not disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, but that's where we are right now. Truth doesn't matter for him in that side because the momentum that they have behind them. Think about it. This is the same dude who a week after getting the 34 felonies, $200 million was raised within a week.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, here's another thing too, right? No president could really get anything done without congressional help, right? So, then I know we're going to talk about the 2025 thing for next week. The Republicans don't even like Trump. Like he doesn't. He's a man without a party for real.
He bad for politics and good for business.
Well, but like throughout this whole time, nobody came to his rescue. Not one Republican came to his aid in regards to, speaking out against these charges that were levied against him in all these different states. They were kind of hoping that he didn't make it to this point. They were hoping that he got locked up. They were hoping.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody's saying shit. Fox News has not been on the leading edge talking about how Trump is being mistreated. Nobody. So you got one person, a man without a party, another man without his marbles, and this is the choices that people want to have in terms of who's going to sit in the pole position seat.
Yeah.
You know how bad it is. I didn't even I'm still caught up on the fact that it didn't feel like this is an election year because I swear I hadn't seen too much politicking going on.
It's been on social media.
No, but Joe, I'm just saying. Typically in an election year, you see the people out.
That's what I'm saying.
Feel like an election year.
That's what I'm saying. It's the only political campaigning that we've really been seeing outside of here, especially here outside of local elections, has been social media.
No, I haven't even seen that.
You ain't seen it. You ain't even seen that. Dang.
No. Shit.
You must have been on Facebook. No, I'm just playing.
Bro, well, the majority of people that on my timeline are not concerned about the real issues anyway. So, but
they worry about LeBron's son versus Caitlin Clark. So,
hey, that's the important shit. But this whole like what we're watching, and I know Pat's more astute because Pat used to do the political analyst analysis for the entire country. For 5-6 years. So I take a back seat to y'all when it comes to that because as much as I know about electoral politics, I'm also from that place where I think that either outside entities control the president or they'll work together in opposition to the president if he's not the person that they choose. And I think that's why Trump didn't make it to the second election with Biden because of that. So watching this is just really, politics right now because I don't think there's no way stopping Trump from getting elected. Now, stranger things have happened. Somebody, can have an aneurysm because we know that works. But in terms of stopping people from
building upon that, right? We all know the history of America. If America really don't want somebody doing something, we all know what America can do. You can get JFK, right? So they
got their ways, you know. So Biden's decline is so fast. It's just kind of wow.
Yeah.
We're a long way from sticking his finger in Charlemagne's face to this point right now.
If you don't vote for me,
You
yeah, it's
ain't-
because yeah, his seems like his physical and mental health has declined significantly since then.
Mhm.
The stress of being in. I'm convinced, and I know we talk about it all the time, but that like being president is not an easy job.
Look at what happened to Obama. How
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That
Like
was 2 days after office being sworn.
he was white.
Obama aged 20 years in 8
Yeah.
years. He
He
aged like
smoked a lot
80
of cigarettes.
years in 8 years. Like,
Yeah, yes, lots of cigarettes.
like he aged like 100 years in 8 years.
but
And
hold on 1 second, Pat. I don't mean to interrupt you. What kind of cigarettes do you think he's smoking? Do you think it was Newports or Cool?
Newport. Oh man, why you thinking what I'm thinking? That's what I was thinking. Newports are cool. I'm gonna go with Newports.
I'm sorry, Pat.
He was smoking Newports. And then on top of that, he had his wife going around telling people she felt like a single mom and all of this other. I'm sorry. So
Now you
yeah,
were saying, mom.
He was sitting out there smoking out the window.
yeah. Oh, he was definitely smoking out the window. This got me. He was definitely jamming that. Oh, yeah, like, and that's why I'm like, neither one of the only reason, and this is why I say I like mentally, I don't think there's a big. The only reason Trump didn't age like hell is because Trump wasn't really taking the job serious. Like he wasn't really, he wasn't doing it. He was chilling.
Hey, just like melanin don't crack, that Agent Orange don't crack like that, man. You got to reapply.
Trump wasn't putting no work. Was on vacation every other weekend.
Look, you know,
like,
because the hair on top of his head look like Pomeranian hair anyway. So he just been getting new Pomeranians and getting new hair coats.
Trump is like, yo, this is so. But Joe
I was
Biden,
already ugly. I wasn't going to get any uglier.
I think Joe Biden was actually trying to do the job, and so. Now the downside to the way Trump did it, is Trump at this point also can't get any competent people on his team.
Nah. He was treating like the Donald every week.
Right.
It's a business. It's not politics. It's a business.
So he get to be interested, but like Joe Biden, I'm convinced if Joe Biden hadn't had the last 4 years in office, he'd still be Longfinger Joe.
Yeah, probably.
He's still the Joe from 4 years ago. But not that's why I'm like they need an age limit on it. If you can't run for president if you over 70.
You need to have, they at least need to have motor sensory skill tests. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like Joe, touch your nose with your hand. Like, they need to do, because he is struggling right now.
I say it's got to be, and that's me being nice, because really I think you shouldn't be able to be president if you're over 60. You got too much of your life behind you. We need a president that's actually going to be alive after they turn. That's actually got concerns and about the future. If I'm 70 years old and I'm president, I really don't give too much about.
Right, that's your.
I'm sorry. I don't care too much about the future. You know what I'm saying? Like I think we need, but presidents also should be able to bridge the gap. They should be able to bridge the gap and communicate with all generations of the nation that they exist in. Biden can't communicate with the youth.
Biden couldn't communicate in that damn
I think Trump is only maybe connecting with some of the radicalized right youth, but for the most part, like you're saying, for both of them, they're too damn old for like that legacy to be continued after their presidency, or for things to be carried into the future. And once again, it's the little giants versus the bad news bears. But the difference is the bad news bears have a loudmouth that stands out above everybody else, who is Donald Trump. And so it makes it seem like the Republican Party is strong, but they not. If he's their best candidate, they're not.
Politics, period, isn't strong. It doesn't look strong. Now, they still pass laws. They still run through policies. They still create legislation and so forth. But let's be no. It's not been respectable for a long time. And
our military is saving us.
And that. Fortunately, globally speaking, the morale of people who want to fight in wars is going down. Fortunately, because the American military morale has been shown to start suffering a little bit too in regards to this. You got to have a reason to really want to fight for this shit. And when you get down to it in a dogfight, and the fact of the matter is that the Democrats really, I mean, I can see, not to say this, but I can see Joe stroking out. I mean, and then an emergency, and I'm serious about this, like an emergency session comes into place to see who replaces him, and they damn sure don't want Kamala. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised if both of them in the same place and some unfortunate mishap take place. Then they have to deal with it. You know what I mean? So, which used to be taboo. You never kept the president and the vice president, with close together for that purpose. But they do it now. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, listen, man. this is going to be a show.
Donald Trump health ain't that damn great.
No,
he's hiding behind that orange. Because if you look at him, he could be on his way out too.
Well, as I said, they both bad. But I think PC made a good point in terms of the military because, like, let's be clear, getting your ass beat for decades takes a toll. And I know we have the most technically advanced military in the world, but we've been taking a whole lot of L's.
Oh, yeah.
Consistently, like for the duration.
We definitely our military is saving us, but we're on the clock.
Oh yeah, we overdue for a win.
The Taliban had cats hanging on the side of airplanes leaving the ground.
so I think, but also I think it gets to be so interesting, right? Like Joe Biden.
Need to get that sound, PC.
Because we in this place where
working on it.
Local politics matters. National politics matters for setting the floor. But most people have lost sight of that. Like when Roe v. Wade was overturned, everybody started railing against the national government. No, all overturning Roe v. Wade did, and I'm glad they highlighted this in the debates, was kick it down to the states.
Yes,
every
the
state
way it was before
made their own decision. That means instead of railing against the national government, you should have been going to work locally to ensure that your state was not going to do something you disagreed with. And I think this is another problem.
Men, Pat. No, Pat, is men.
That's fine. It could be men, but you ain't gonna change it. So get over it, baby. But this is what needs to, and this is where I say the beauty of America was the fact that it was essentially 50 different nations coming together.
Right.
If you didn't like one place, you could go to another place, provided you had the means.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Provided you had, now give that caveat. Poor people, real difficult. But most of y'all making six figures. So I don't understand.
That's what y'all telling us. That's what they keep telling us.
If you don't like living in Georgia because they made abortions illegal, move to California. I don't understand.
Wherever.
But and this is where we get into civics and the conversations about all of it. People not understanding. You're actually handicapping yourself the same way y'all like to talk about Republicans and broke white people vote against their best interests. Every single time you rail against the national government for something that could be taken care of on a state level, you're railing against your best interests as well. Because it's a lot harder to change. It's a lot easier to change the decisions of your state than it is the national government.
Well, people have to understand the presidential race is the spectacle. everything else around the presidential race that you're going to be voting for are the things that really matter. And what really matters is your local elections that are coming up. Do you know your candidates? Do you know their platforms? If you don't, hey man, I don't know about y'all, but I know the candidates, because candidates come and talk to me. So
I know my candidates. I ain't gonna say I like them, but I know who they are and I know their policy positions.
Yeah, well, I know we just got some brighter street lights, and they finally turned the lights on in the back. So, hey,
we got some brighter lights at my office at work, man. I came in the other day. Oh, the light's bright. So we ain't vote though, but
one of our local elected officials just his band just released an album. So
really,
they're working. They're on the clock. I think bruh. Well, let's be real. Most people get into politics because it's a personal thing. They want to get that lifetime pension, and then they get to butter up some businesses and become millionaires. In the process, even local politicians do that. We really people just I think people have lost the I think people have been, like I said, I talked about black people being demoralized, but overall America has been demoralized globally. It's a very depressing time to live in. More people are becoming homeless every day. More people are having to choose between the leisure they love and basic necessities that they need, and the basic necessities are being priced way over what they used to be. So people are more people are single, so you don't even have nobody to ride with you, and the people that are together are miserable for the most part. The politics, people ain't even really trying to. I mean, I think that there's a level of depression overall that is set in society, to the point where people aren't even motivated to do things that benefit them no more. And they're just willing to just sit there and let shit happen. And we often talk about black people being the beta test for what they're going to do to the rest of the world. And I think the things that they've done to demoralize Black America has spilled over into not just white America. And now you have this influx of immigrants that are coming into the country. And that's more of a reason for people to be demoralized, because they're watching immigrants come in, and they're, assuming that these immigrants are stealing their jobs and things of that nature. They are getting a lot of more resources, I'll tell you that much.
It's competition, though.
Well, when you beat people to a certain degree, you beat the fight out of them. It's like a lion, like when you first capture a lion from a safari and you put them in a cage, that lion's banging up against the walls.
Yeah.
But after a while, you go back about 3, not maybe a year later, that lion's just sitting there waiting for you to feed him.
Yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah. But man, it's funny to see the political climate that we're in. I never would have thought that politics would be such a spectacle. But also I was young too, and when I was younger, I wasn't into politics. I wasn't keeping up. So I then learned that okay, I was just late. Like politics, I always been so I was just late. But
it's never been this bad.
Of course, it's the degree of it is worse, but it was there. But I do think as Black Americans, we need to once again make sure that we are choosing the best person for us. Don't fall for the scare tactics that they have for the Project 2025. We're gonna get into it. It's a 900-page document, so we're gonna attack that several different ways because that's a lot, and we're not gonna be able to get that whole document in one show. But don't fall for the scare tactics of the Project 2025, and don't fall for the scare tactics of them saying that Donald Trump is trying to make himself king, or he's now made himself king. Don't fall for the scare tactics of that. We can, if we do Well, we know we're not, but the plan, the idea would be if we were uniting, if we were taking care of ourselves, a lot of these things wouldn't necessarily negatively affect us the way that it is, or the idea of it negatively affecting us the way it is, because we could be able to insulate ourselves. But you already know that there are white supremacists in this country. We talk about it all the time. There are hardcore white supremacists on the left, and there are we try to be your best friend white supremacists on the right. Don't fall for the scare tactics of the Project 2025. Go learn what it is, but also make sure that we're doing what we need to do for ourselves. Now, if we ain't doing what we need to do for ourselves, then of course we know Project 2025 is going to be something that's going to be scary to you. But don't let nobody convince you to vote for Donald Trump. Don't let nobody scare you into voting for Joe Biden. Vote the issues. This debate was bad, but it was only one caveat. It was the first debate, only one debate. Now, do we expect Joe Biden to have better performances as far as his how he's delivering his messages? Because I've heard people say, I've heard people say he wasn't prepared enough for this, and I heard people saying he was too prepared because he was going off on tangents and all these different things. We don't know. We do know it was a bad look for Joe. It was a bad look for the Democrats, but we're saying overall, politics in America is a bad look. The little giants versus the bad news bears. That's what we're dealing with. Don't fall for the scare tactics, and don't fall for the tricks from either side. Stay the course, vote the issues, educate yourself on who's running for what, but your local elections matter the most. Say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so. Hey, man. FatLifeStation.com, 2 p.m. Make sure you check it out. Link is in the description. ThePax.org is the website one of the websites that we use to serve our community. Of course, OnTheShoulders1.com is my website to check me out. Like this video, subscribe, comment, share, do all these things. Make sure we run these numbers up, get this information out, get these videos out. Oh yeah, and I'm on the 27th of this month. I'm having the interest meeting for my Saturday schools. I'm gonna start my own shows with Giant Saturday schools in Tallahassee. And components are going to be a seminar team, a debate team, and a research team, getting our young people, teaching them this information, teaching them Black history, but teaching them how to use it. And we're not only going to teach them a Black history, we're going to teach them life skills, job skills, and all those things, because I want them to wrap the history up into skill sets so they can practically use the information that's being given to them and not just be future intellectual masturbators. That's not what we need. We need people who are going to use the information. So the 27th of this month started my Saturday school. So I keep y'all updated on things like that. But Joseph Ward, Professor Carl Tone Jones, Patrick Irvin, weekend at Joe Biden's. We out.